creating new things, implementing innovative ideas, building creative networks. The cultural and creative sector has a strong future in Frankfurt-Rhein-Main, as is evidenced by the fact that for the first time, the Art Directors Club annual meeting took place in Frankfurt. The awards of the prestigious ADC Nails were the highlight of what's the largest meeting of its kind in Germany, Austria and Switzerland. For 4 days, creative professionals from the worlds of advertising and art convened to nominate the crème de la crème of their industry, form creative networks and gather inspiration. To bring the summit to Frankfurt ADC, Executive Board member Klaus Fischer enlisted the support of politicians and industry alike, proposing a high-caliber discursive event in the city and promoting Frankfurt-Rhein-Main as a creative centre. We received massive support from Frankfurt, not only from the city of Frankfurt, but also from the region and state, which assisted us in all kinds of ways. And this produced an incredibly good result and a wonderful cooperation. The exhibition of competition entries, the largest creative show in the world, attracted around 10,000 visitors to the metropolis. New to the summit held in Frankfurt were the city panel discussions, which brought together top speakers such as design legend Dieter Rams with an audience mainly composed of students. The summit thus turned all eyes to a region that's home and workplace to a myriad of creative minds. One of them is Mike Boucher. During last year's biennial in Venice, the Californian, who was born in 1970, intended to expose the dream of independence and individuality as a commercial illusion, with his full-size installation of a typical US family house that was to float in the canal by the Arsenal. The house actually sank, which Boucher took with humor. After all, the disaster certainly secured him the attention of the international art scene. Boucher works in a spacious studio in Offenbach, but dropped anchor in Frankfurt in his private life.
Frankfurt's very much on the map for contemporary art, and I think this is also an important thing, that the exhibitions you see in other large cities pass through here, sometimes originate from here, and that there's an informed audience of collectors and curators and arts community.
Boucher is currently also exhibiting in Frankfurt. As from July 1st, Schön Kunsthalle will present parts of the scuppered house in a new constellation as a sculpture group, floating or suspended in space. Even if his journey to Bukovina, a strip of land between Romania and the Ukraine, provided the initial spark to create a new kind of pan-European pop music, Stefan Hantl, alias Chantel, still calls Frankfurt his musical home. Each year, Chantel's schedule features over 250 shows between Istanbul and Helsinki, with Frankfurt being the perfect base for takeoff.
Frankfurt ist durch seine geografische Lage
Its geographical location puts Frankfurt in an excellent spot. There are fast travel connections to anywhere in the world. The other thing that very much appeals to me is the city's international feel.
Empfinde ist quasi die Internationalität der Stadt.
With its multicultural flair, Frankfurt-Rhein-Main time and again provides new inspiration for one of Germany's most highly acclaimed musicians on the international stage. Following the success of their first adventure, Far Cry, which sold more than 2.7 million copies, the Jährli brothers joined the big players in the gaming world. The success story of the three brothers from Crytek began in the provincial town of Coburg in Franconia. They subsequently moved to Frankfurt in 2006. We looked at different locations and finally opted for Frankfurt, primarily because of the city's international feel and infrastructure. However, what's now increasingly becoming important for us is the excellent range of cultural and leisure activities. It's not so apparent at first sight, but you will gradually get to know it. The successor products, Crisis and Crisis 2, impressed with their cutting-edge technology and graphic innovations. In Crytek's head office in Frankfurt, some 300 developers, graphic artists and programmers from 30 nations are already planning the next coup in utmost secrecy. Dan Reynolds received a very special honor this year. The typeface designer who works for Linotype in Bad Homburg was presented with the German Design Award for his Malabar font. What makes this typeface so special is that it supports a wide variety of languages. It's not restricted to Western and Eastern European languages, but it also supports the languages of northern India, such as Sanskrit and Hindi. In February each year, the German Design Award is presented by the German Design Council at the opening of the Ambiente Trade Fair. The fact that, for the first time, it was a font that bagged the prestigious prize of prizes moves font design, which virtually goes unnoticed but is nonetheless of critical importance, to the center of the design world. Frankfurt-Rhein-Main looks back on a long tradition in typeface production, with Linotype in Bad Homburg now creating fonts for clients the world over. It is yet another industry that ensures the eyes of the international creative scene are always on the Frankfurt-Rhein-Main region.